Mark, before we look ahead to what's to come this week, we had the news overnight of the tickets selling out. A great thing for the football club and a great sign that the community are getting behind you.
Yes, look, they have. Well, in my time since I've been here, they've done that in the droves. Really good. Be a great night for everybody. Fantastic club that's coming to Lincoln. But one thing we have to be clear about is we're trying to win a cup game. We're doing everything we can. It's not a party. It's not a party atmosphere. We're taking it as serious as we can. But a brilliant night, brilliant opposition. An outstanding club, outstanding manager. So should be a great night for everybody. And not surprised that the tickets have gone so quickly with the way our fans turn up week in, week out. So, and I think they deserve to have somebody like that coming to Sincil Bank. I think it's really important.
Have you missed the football? I mean, I'm sure you were doing stuff last week, maybe watching Carlisle or something like that, but did you miss not having a game where you're in charge last week?
No, because I had a 7-hour round trip to get to a game of football, so I'd much rather be stood on the touchline, but it was a good day.
But pleased to be back with the players. I know some of obviously have been training through, but pleased to have them all back now.
Yeah, no, we were just talking outside, it feels like you've been away. We've nothing's changed for us, we just haven't had a game, so we've had a brilliant week behind us. Obviously Rico and Sean have been away, who are back with us now, so that's been really good. The thing I have really missed is playing at home. I mean, we've had 8 games now, we've had 6 away, so it feels like we've not been at home. So looking forward to getting back and having a home game in front of our own fans again.
And have Rico and Sean come back unscathed as far as you can see?
Yes, fingers crossed.
That was to be a real relief, I would have thought.
Yeah, it was, because, especially with Rico, because of where he plays and how far it is, and it's a really sensitive subject, because playing for your country is a dream come true. It's such a proud moment. He should be proud. He was a huge player for them. As a coach, you're thinking about the games, 9-hour flights, then getting back. Fingers crossed you don't get injured, different time zones. But it's the most amazing thing in the world to play for your country, so we're really proud of Rico and Sean. They should be really proud of each other. It's something that as a club we should embrace.
It must be a bit strange for you, because obviously you've been on the other side of that, being the player, but I suppose as a coach it's a bit like loaning your mate your car and hoping it comes back without a scratch.
Yeah, especially when you got a nice car as well.
Yeah.
The 2 guys, they're really important to us, and as I said, we're really proud of them that they're getting recognition for their performances. It's just hard as a head coach when you get an opportunity to look after some players, but actually the ones that are going away are going to have a tougher time. So, but as I said, it's a compliment to the group and to the players when you've got players out in international football. It means you're doing something right, and it means, more importantly, they're doing something right. You brought a player in on loan just before the last game, Jack Vale. Is he any closer to being available for training? Not closer as we sit here today, but there's no setbacks. We've had a time frame from day one, which we know what that is, and that's all going according to plan. Kieran's been up in Blackburn last week to see Jack, so he's not too far away, but it's not imminent. We have to be respectful as well with Jack. He's been injured for a considerable period, so by the time he comes back, which will be in the next couple of weeks, he will have had a sustained period out, so we need to be careful with him. And people might look and go, well, why have you signed a player in that's been injured for some? The bottom line is, if Jack was fit and playing his football at his parent club, whether it was in the B team with the first team, he wouldn't be coming to us. So it's a situation that suits all parties. He needs some football. He needs to get back fit. He needed a club that would be prepared to wait for him, who believes in him like we do, and I think will be a really good fit for each other. So we've taken a short-term hit for a long-term profit, basically, in his performances.
And does that have any implications? I did ask you after the Bristol Rovers game. I understand it was sort of pretty short from the announcement. Potentially for someone like Jovan, could that have an impact on whether he goes out on loan?
Yeah, really good question. I can't answer that as we sit here today. We'll have a clearer picture on that in the next 7 to 10 days for sure. Apologies for multiple reasons, which I don't really want to talk about today. But Jovan played for the B team on Tuesday, played really well, scored an impressive goal. Quite an eye-catching performance, but from a coach's point of view, still lots and lots of things to do. So what we'll always do is do what's best for Jovan and his progression and his career path.
You did make a signing after all of that was confirmed. I know it had been done for a while in Jack Moreland coming to the club. Another Irishman. You're building up the numbers, but what is it about him as a player that he's impressed, I think, at Shelbourne, hasn't he?
Yeah, something I'm not overly keen on is I don't want to get laboured with an Irishman who just signs Irish players. So, we're not trying to follow Wolves' blueprint of what they've done over the last few years or anything like that. If good players come available, we're in the hunt for them. If we feel somebody can improve the club, I couldn't care less where they're from. If anything, I'm apprehensive of continually keep signing Irish players because I don't want to get labelled with that. So that's something I'm very conscious about personally. The flip side of that is the most important thing is what's best for the club. So if they're all Irish, that's brilliant, and it's brilliant for Ireland. Good question, good player, somebody the club identified some time ago, somebody that the club wanted to bring in, and he'll be in November, so we look forward to seeing him.
And just one final one on a player before we talk about the game. Freddie Draper's been impressing at Walsall. Is that something that you monitor, or is it something you monitor through people like Jez George and then have a review of how things are going?
A bit of both. The reason I pause is the former is hard to do because we're all constantly playing when Freddie's playing, so that's really difficult. So it's something the club will do a lot more than I can do live. Obviously, with huddle and things like that, we're constantly looking at performances, speaking to clubs. It's constant dialogue throughout. I did get a chance to see Freddie in the summer. I went back to Moreland to watch him and seen him up live, so I had a chance to do that. But again, because it was a summer league, I was able to do it. It's very difficult to do when he's playing, we're playing. But, with all the players, the weekend being a good one because we weren't playing, all the coaching staff were out watching our players and watching games. I took up a game that was the nearest to me and the importance of first team level, but the rest of the staff were out watching our players. So, but not just Freddie, all the lads are doing really, really well in the loan. So, really important that continues, but something that the club monitor constantly for sure.
Well, as you said, only 2 games at home out of the 6. You've got one now coming up against Carlisle, and a Carlisle team that have got a very experienced manager at their helm. Yeah,
very successful. Been in the game a long time. Really highly regarded, really well thought of. Incredible promotion last year, and a really solid start. Scoring goals, well organised. Got some really good individual players, and the thing about the league is, Michael, it doesn't matter who you're playing, the top team at the bottom. And I've said this multiple times, it must be really boring for you, if we're not on a game, we'll come unstuck. But if we are on a game, we've got a great chance of getting 3 points, and Saturday's no different.